All right, I'm going to rip through my watch list for Friday. So here we go. DRI, kind of zoomed way out here so you can see that it did have some nice bounces, but this is all the way back in late 2012, early 2013, but it looks like it's headed to 44. It did bounce above 44. Looks like the lows were around 44.20-ish. So if we get down near that area, the 44.20s, I will be looking for a bounce play on Friday. DRL. Again, didn't have a trade in this one today. Had it on bounce watch for today, but never triggered, never met our parameters. But still, this was 10 bucks just about 4 or 5 days ago. Now it's at 5. Hasn't triggered yet as a bounce play. Talked about this in last night's video. Didn't break its early high. Okay, so the opening 15-minute high was the high of the day, just like the day before. The day before was like the opening 30-minute high or so. So anyway, what I'm looking for is a narrow range and then a break above that range in the afternoon. So it didn't meet those parameters, but I say this in every video. It doesn't cost me anything to put it on a chart. And that wasn't even close. Okay, CAMT, another cheapie that had a 20 million plus share day up through 5, and now 3 red days in a row. Again, it doesn't cost me anything to have that on a chart. We might catch a nice trade in it, only with the proper setup. Taser, now there's nothing bullish about this chart other than it's getting shaped to the downside, nice volume, and kind of a bottoming candle there. So this may have follow through on the bounce on Friday, so we'll just watch that one. I don't love that as a long, but it certainly looks like a long here versus a short for a day or two, but we'll see. SYMC, certainly interesting over these recent highs here. But really the reason I have it on the chart is because today on an intraday basis, late in the day, it just did this huge rip. Okay, these are 15-minute candles, so over the course of 30 minutes, it traded 6 million plus shares, only to give some of it back at the end of the day. So whenever I have that, I like to try to remember to have that one on watch the next day and see if there's something to the reason that it did that pop. Okay, Kohl's KSS. I want to see how this one holds around. It's done some nice bouncing off 52, and it's back down there again. So this isn't something I would do anything with right at the open. But if it can hold, or if it flushes below 52 and ends up back above it and can hold above it for a bit, might have a nice long trade there. And this one's pretty interesting to me, this NEON. Another cheapie. We were trading it back here. I put it out. I put a video out as a swing in the low 3s, said it might make it to 4 back here when it looked like this, and ended up getting through 4 and then flushed down. And again, it's interesting to me. Nice volume here, here. I think it's worth a look up over this range. Let me put a little line here. Up over this range, this one may have finally put in a bottom here. Okay. So it looks higher if it can get up over that range. Again, might be a nice swing trade. If you get any kind of strong day, this might be worth an overnight hold or two. I'm really not into holding overnight, but this one is interesting if it can hold, stay above 3. It wouldn't surprise me to see it test and maybe break above these low 4s in the near future. They had some good news today, working with automakers, possibly becoming OEM supplier, if you will. And that's, it's big news for a company at this price. So anyway, keep your eyes on NEON. But at this time, I'm just looking for a trade in it. Again, some of the ones from the watch list last night, XGTI might not have been on it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Nice volume spike in this one, only it definitely gave a lot of it back. This is an intraday using 15-minute candles. But what does that do? That lands it on a chart so I can watch it tomorrow. EVRY, this was on the watch list for today, or for last night for today. I can't talk today. In the video last night for today. And I ended up not calling it, and I didn't catch this break. I was actually, because of that lightning strike on my house, I was out of commission all morning again, dealing with the alarm repair guy and other things. Hoping to get most of a full trading day in tomorrow. That would be nice. You don't want your house to get struck by lightning. It's a pain in the ass. But I did call it long as it broke this high, 260. No, that's not right. I called it long right about here at 255-ish, I think, with a stop at 250. Might have said 257, something like that. And you can see what it did. It ended up a very nice percentage gain, went to 290. That's a really nice percentage gain, actually. And you know what? This chart still looks interesting for tomorrow. It may continue back up now. So have that one on a chart. MVIS. I've liked this chart for a while. It hasn't done much of anything, but today again, nice intraday high volume spike and closed fairly well. So that one also lands on a chart. PXLW, 10 plus million shares a couple days ago. Then today, kind of a quiet day. Got to have these on charts. I may never, I might not trade these for a week, but it might meet my parameters tomorrow. So TXMD, I've got on a chart. It's just weird looking though. Yeah, and closed near its lows today. So that one is not that interesting, but. And then NURO. Also in last night's video, talked about a bounce today. Well, it gapped down with the market and had a nice little narrow green candle. So this one, like back here, we talked about this in last night's video. A few days down after the big spike last time, put in a green candle and then all the way back up. Doesn't mean it's going to happen again this time, but it's worth watching again tomorrow. Looks like that's it, guys. I was going to show a couple charts from this morning, but it's really not fair because I didn't trade them. They're just great setups. I'll tell you what, I'm going to show one. I was out of the room and didn't get the trade, but when the whole market, I'm just going to show one, something you can look for in the future. When the whole market's gapping down, all right, and look at that huge gap down in the SPY, right? And then 5 minutes in, it bounces, but then it looks like it's rolling over again. Looks like the end of the world again. It ended up being a really strong day for the SPY. Well, I noticed Home Depot gave a great setup. Now, I noticed this after the fact, so anyone can sound like a genius looking at charts when the chart's already formed. But it's still worth pointing out, in my opinion. HD at the open with the market selling off, obviously. But what's so significant about HD, look at that bounce off 78. Now, let's go to 60-minute candles. And pan out and look at the base here at 78. Look at the last bounce off 78. That's a great level for Home Depot. So if you were attentive and happened to see that early sell-off and you were looking for something, to catch a bounce if the SPY bounced, man, having a bid in at 78 on Home Depot would have been brilliant. Now you could say, well, that's catching a falling knife, but you know what? You can have a bid in at support on anything, and if your position size is proper. How about this? How about such that you're going to give it 50 cents? Okay, so you have a bid in at 78. If it just keeps pulling off the falling knife deal, you just kill it at 77.50, right? So you're risking 50 cents. Real easy to choose how many shares to buy, knowing that you're going to kill it 50 cents lower. You just do the math and say, okay, if I lose 50 cents, I'm only going to play this many shares. So such that if 50 cents gets stopped out. It didn't hurt at all, okay? So if you follow that logic, you got filled at 78 while other people are panicking out of it. And it ended up going up over $1.50 from there. So again, I didn't trade this. I just noticed this after the fact. But anytime you have a bunch of stocks selling off, look for those support levels. And you can see it on the daily pretty nice there too. I wish I were making this video saying, hey, I had a bid in at 78 and sold it at 79.40. Unfortunately, again, I was out of the market for the first couple hours this morning. So, all right, I'm going to quit babbling, and we will talk to you tomorrow.